Welcome to another episode of us building a resume and open sourcing it so people can use it for whatever they're applying to. We've been using React and Tailwind CSS to build out a resume that you can just edit through a data file and then have a nice looking version that you can print out as a PDF. And by print out, I mean save it as a PDF. And then you'd be able to then put that onto whatever job postings you currently are applying for. So part 5, we're just going to jump right back in. We are basically at the point where we are just toggling and tweaking and adding some things to these links that we added last time. And then we're going to get into a few more things. So adding links is what we're hitting now. And then we're going to talk about making the sidebar suck a little less. And what I mean by that is just that I think this could use some love. And then we're going to get into some print optimizations. And then basically I want to be able to create like individual pages for a potential employer. The idea there is to be able to basically have like a version of this that lives at, I don't know, like Netflix, if you want to work there. And it would have very specific kind of like, it's almost like a cover letter, but it's built into the resume where you're saying, this is why I want to work there. Here are the things I'm looking forward to. There was something else I was thinking about earlier today, which was it'd be nice to be able to put kind of like key experiences under work history, just to be able to highlight some specific things instead of just having a paragraph here. Also, I was thinking about the ability to do markdown for the text sections. So this would be like for the bio, for the work history, history, education, and side projects. So really quickly, just want to go over kind of like, this is how it works. So we've got this data object, and this is really, we're using TypeScript just to define what this data object even looks like. And this is really what this data object looks like. So everything that is defined by this data object is what's going to show up in this resume on the right-hand side. And so you've got the name of the person, what role they're looking for, what the profile picture is, all that kind of stuff. And so we are then creating this data object full of stuff. This is not my name. It is totally made up. This picture is from it's a site called like this person doesn't exist or something, uses AI to create profile pictures. And just fake data. Obviously a Los Angeles location with a UK number. Yeah. The name is Chris because of a previous version where we had actually changed his name just to show this was working, blah, blah, blah. So where we are right now. So there's an array for work history, which you're seeing played out here. There's an array for side projects. There's an array for education. And we're in this section here where we're talking about links. And so last time we were on here, we worked on this. We worked on being able to put links up in the top right here. And for the online version, these just link out. But if you were developing for the print version, we're just going to go to, I don't know where it is, rendering in here. And we're just going to emulate the print mode. I think it's... Oh man, somewhere in here we can emulate, here we go, the print mode. And in print mode, it actually shows up with the full links, just that if someone's looking at a PDF or if you're actually printing this out, people can still go to those links. Cool. So we're gonna jump into updating these, and there's a couple things I wanna do. First of all, I wanna be able to provide some sort of an icon or a graphic beside each of these. And so we're gonna dive in and look at the data type itself. So in this link object that I described, I put logo in here, and it was kind of a placeholder at the time, talking about like, let's do this at some point, but haven't done it yet. So first of all, logo, I'm not sure I love it. I'm gonna change this to be called icon. And for right now, rather than this be a string, what I'm thinking is React icons, which is the icon library we've been using through this project. I'm just gonna click on that. And we've been using the remix icons, but they've got like a GitHub icon. They've got a LinkedIn icon. They've got all the like the main social media ones. And so I'm just gonna use an icon from this library. And so let's just grab first of all, let's just grab the GitHub one. So we'll just grab this. Cool. Copy that, and I'm going to import it right into our data file. So that's the icon I want. Awesome. High fives all around. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to provide this directly as the icon for this link. However, that's not going to work because icon is expecting, or this data object is expecting icon to be a string. So how do we properly type this? Right now, what I'm thinking is we'll have to figure out what type this icon is. So if we jump up to the import, and I'm just going to hold Option, and I'm going to click on it, and we're going to see right in their file here, provided by React Icons, we can see it's of type icon type. And I'm assuming, if I were to go to the top of this file, I'm assuming I'll find that they're importing it from their own library. So we should theoretically be able to import this from React Icons. Not yelling at us, so I think we're good. So I'm actually just going to update this description to say in links, this icon should actually be of icon type. Cool. Let's just check it out down here. Yep, it's not yelling at us anymore. Great. So we now have an icon on here. I'm going to do the same thing for the LinkedIn. The LinkedIn one, grab that, go to the top, we'll import this. And then down here, we'll say icon is that guy. Cool. So now, really all we have to do is use this. So I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to close all this actually. And I'm going to pull up, so if we go to our folder structure here, we just have we're using Next.js, we just have a main page, which is what all this is kind of loading in as. On this right-hand side, we have the details panel. So if we jump into that, you're going to see that we've got this section at the top of the details panel, which is up here, which is representing these links. A second point here in my README file was that I do want to move this out to its own component. So I think it's actually probably a good time to do that. So I'm actually going to create a new component in here, and I'm going to call it links. And basically all I'm going to do for that is I'm going to grab all of this and I'm going to do this. So import links from links. And obviously that's going to throw an error because we haven't really defined this component yet. So I'm going to say links equals to this. I'm going to say return. And we'll just paste everything we have in there. Yeah, and we'll revisit some of this in a second. I'm just going to quickly export default links. So if there are no links, we want this to return null. So I'm going to grab this if statement that we had wrapped around it previously, and I'm just going to say, hey, if data.links does not exist, or data.links.length is 0, I just want this thing to return null. That's all I want it to do. Which then means I can take out this and I can take out this. Awesome. Link is not defined, which is fair because I called it links. Data is not defined. That's also a fair point. So I'm going to actually pass in links equals data.links. And then in here, in here, we'll have a prop now of links. And instead of data.links, we will change all these to links. Cool. So we pushed this into its own component. The details panel looks way cleaner now, and I think that's a good thing. So in our README, we'll just check this one off. Awesome. Cool. So we will now jump back into here. So now we have this icon. that we're going to start using. So I'm actually going to do something just to make this a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to say href and name and icon equals link, which just means that inside of here, I don't have to do the link prefix on all these, which is nice. Cool. So in here, we're just going to, in here, we're going to say, you know what? If there is an icon, actually, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if this is necessary, but I do this whenever I have a prop or a variable that contains a component, and I want that to show. I typically will rename it to have an uppercase as the first, just to show that it's a component. Kind of a weird little convention, but that is something that I do just so that this can be used nicely as an icon here. So I'm going to say, hey, if there's an icon, then let's display icon. Cool, so it's working. Those icons are showing. Life is beautiful. Let's just go back to our data object and let's take one out just to see, because it's optional, see what happens when it doesn't go there. Cool. I say cool, just meaning that it showed up. Obviously, it looks terrible. So we're gonna fix that. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a class on this of flex, and then we're gonna say items center. Beautiful. And then we're gonna put a class name on the icon that's just gonna be margin right 2. Beautiful. I think that looks great. For the links, I'm actually gonna just increase the spacing between them. Cool. GitHub, LinkedIn, beautiful. Sweet. So I'm just gonna run through an example here of saving this as a PDF. And I know you guys can't see my save dialog for the PDF, but I'm gonna save it. And then I'm just gonna pop it in the browser so that you guys can see it. So this is what our printed version of this would look like. I mean, those links, they're okay. They're a little big. Not the most beautiful thing in the world. Take up quite a bit of space. There's probably something we can do about that. Partly I'm wondering, you know, even if you were to add one more link in here, this would get kind of gross real quick. So part of what I'm wondering is, does this actually belong in the sidebar? All your links? And not to just like answer myself, but I think that's where they belong. That would give us a better way to actually have this expand and like fully create, you know, the ability to add as many links as you want without being like, oh, I've ruined the styling of this. So now that we've componentized this, it actually makes it nice and easy because I can just pull links out of here. And if we go to our sidebar panel, I'm just gonna bring links in and I'm going to put it below here. And so there's gonna be a few things that we're gonna have to change to make this work and look better. So we'll jump back into the links in here. And really, we're just the first thing we're gonna do is change this to flex call. We're not gonna justify end it. We're actually gonna say justify center. And we are going to take off, we in the previous stream had added some margin left if it wasn't the first one. So I'm gonna take that off. That's gonna line that up nicely. And then, what else do we need to do with this? I'm not loving, it's definitely not aligning the way I thought it would align. Let's just text center this, and that's not what's going on. So I'm just gonna quickly inspect these. And so it's this one. Yes, this one just needs to be justify center, I think. Justify center, beautiful. Cool. And then it probably makes sense to match kind of the spacing that's happening in the rest of the sidebar. They've got this gap 3. on them. I'm gonna do the same thing here, which should space those out nicely. Cool. So now you could add, your personal website, whatever you want. Everything could go in here, and that would look great. Since we're working with these icons, maybe it'd be really nice to have icons in front of these as well. And so if we were to jump into the sidebar panel, I should probably actually just, hold on a second. I'm jumping ahead. Let's finish up this task of getting the links to be done. And I'm just gonna emulate that print mode one more time. Nope. Where is it? Way too many. Media type. We're gonna go print and see these links are not set up to be like this. So we're gonna jump back into links and we're gonna make this flex call like that. And I guess I'm gonna take out these brackets. That seems okay. They could probably go smaller. That's nice. So again, this is only in print mode, so you can see the whole URL. I think I like that. Okay, cool. Turn off the emulation there. And you know what? I'm gonna say that we're good with links for now. So I'm gonna tag this one off as well and say we've added the icons to the links. Let's pull this one out and we're gonna add it to our list of things that are done. Cool. And I think now's a good time to add this all in and commit it to our source control and just say tweaking links, adding icons, moving to sidebar. And we'll send that up to GitHub. Nice. All right. So on to making this sidebar suck a little bit less. There's probably a few things we can do with this. One kind of quick thought I had was adding icons to these as well. So I'm going to close everything we have open right now, and I'm going to pop open the sidebar panel. And just kind of thinking like each of these could use like a nice, like, I don't know, like world. No, let's do map. Even just the map pin would be great. I'm gonna grab this one. And let's import that icon from React Icons RI. And let's throw it in here. And then we'll have to do some styling changes to make that work properly, but more or less it's gonna work. We're just gonna have to do something like flex. And I'm gonna say items center. Cool. And then we'll add a class name to this to just give it a little bit of padding on that side, just to make it like that. So we'll do the same thing with phone. And kind of hoping, yeah, let's get a cell phone in here rather than an old school phone. And we're going to basically copy what we did on this one. Oops. We're gonna grab all this. Let's go check it out. Phone, however, with this really long not international but UK number, it's kind of off the page. You know, this could probably go to be XS as kind of secondary data on this resume, but we'll do that. And then we'll grab an email. Mail. Just grab this one. And we'll bring that in as well. Cool. And given the amount of like repetition that's happening in here, we could totally componentize this. I'm not gonna do it right now. Doesn't feel like it's super worth it, but the idea being here that we have this nice, you know, your location, your phone, your email. I'm just realizing now there's gonna be people who are gonna not want to put this information in here. And so a couple things that I think is worth doing. Number one is we should make it optional in the data object. And then number two, if it's not there, it should not show this whole entire section. Really quickly, I'm gonna extract this out to a component. We don't have to make it a whole separate file. I'm just gonna call this, I'm gonna call it contact details. And we'll just return that. And then we'd be saying icon and label. And then we'll make this label. And then the beauty of that then is we can do something like this. Actually, we're not gonna make this be label, we're gonna make this children. Because then we can make it look a little cleaner. I mean, cleaner is relative, I guess, in this sense. Some people might find this cleaner, some might not. But this idea. Sure. So we'll just make 3 of those. Cell phone, mail, boom. Phone, email, and then we'll get rid of these. And then that's really nice and clean. Contact details, the icon, and then the data that's gonna show for it. Beautiful. Cool, 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 except almost cool. This got populated as address when I believe it's location. Nice. Awesome. So we've cleaned this up a little bit. We've added some icons. I think it looks a little nicer. We've got our links on this left-hand side now. Yeah, I'm getting ideas kind of as we go here, and I'm kind of thinking it'd be nice to almost have like little bubbles of kind of like what your strengths are underneath here. And I may do that. I'm gonna call this like strengths pills below role you're looking for. Maybe we'll get to that later. Okay, so we were on the point of kind of making the sidebar suck a little less. I think we've accomplished that. I don't know if it's perfect yet. There's some things that I think still could be nice to do. Maybe we'll cross this one off, and if we've got some more thoughts, we'll take those at some point. So we're just taking that to-do item, putting it at the end, and saying it's done. This print optimizations one, I'm gonna actually put it at the end. And once we get to the end, we can kind of talk about maybe what some of those things are. But for right now, this is kind of something I'm keeping in mind as we go through, is what needs to be optimized as we go. But I kind of want to get to some of these other interesting things. So we've wrapped up this. You can put your work history in, you can put education, you can put your side projects, your bio, and all that kind of stuff. I think we've got something that's pretty like usable. People can use this, and they can really get their resume out there, and they can show it off, and it'll hit all the kind of the right points. What I'm kind of thinking though is, what if you have there's this kind of section here that I'm gonna move up, and this section, this showing key experiences under work history, and this markdown for the text sections both feel important to me in the ability to really show off kind of like who you are, what you're about, what you've done at past places. And I don't want to just kind of I don't want to just pass that by, because I think kind of by only putting in, these one sentences or the same sentence twice, we're kind of shortchanging probably what people are actually going to have typed in here or put in here. Now, the next question I kind of have to ask myself is, do we really need Markdown? Do you really need to be able to kind of like put whatever you want in here, in terms of like bold and italics and like all that kind of stuff? Or is it really just fine that you're going to just put in kind of a sentence or two or a paragraph? The more I kind of think about that, the more I'm not convinced that this whole like Markdown thing is something we really need to do. I'm just pulling it out, just full on. And I might just make a new section here of like future maybe features, because I don't know if that's going to be necessary. I don't know if we need to do that or if that's just something that would be interesting. So I'm going to throw it down here. Cool. Key experiences. So I think this one is interesting though. It's not about formatting as much as it is about kind of really highlighting certain things under a specific role. So what we're going to do is we're going to close out the sidebar. I'm going to close out the side panel here, and we're going to jump into the work history section. There's something about this that's bothering me, which really has to do with the fact that all of this content in here, in the work history section, in the education section, and in the side project section, there's a lot of repetition in here. And I think there's some, they look the same, they feel the same. I think there's some ways that we could probably, we could probably clean this up. And so the first kind of thought I have is like this whole, like the section heading stuff can stay the same, but this whole section where we're kind of repeating over stuff and just showing a title, a subtitle, whatever this is, something, a description. Wow. That's all being repetitive. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull this out, and I'm just going to call this, because education, side project, and work history, they're all just kind of like an experience that you've had. And that's kind of my justification for the naming of this section. But my thought is really, I guess that you would loop over these, and then inside that loop, we would put an experience section in. So something like this. And so then I'm just going to paste this in here. And so the side project section is just completely borked right now because I'm not passing anything into experience, which I need to. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about passing in kind of whatever the title of this thing is. So the title, the subtitle, the content, and then the start and end date of them, really. So if we were to say the title equals, in this case, it's project dot name. The logo is project dot logo. The subtitle, in this case, is project dot role, and then the start date is project dot start date, and the end date is project dot end date. Cool. So we're going to say return Actually, we're just gonna take these out. Cool. So obviously experience is gonna have an issue because we haven't actually defined these in there. So I'm gonna grab those, go to this experience section and paste them in. Now the whole reason I'm doing this is so that we can reuse this across all the other components as well. So let's just start replacing some of this stuff. So project name is gonna get replaced by, actually I should probably just find the other instance of it, the multiple instances of it. Not there. So there and there. I think those are the three. And we're gonna call those title. And so then we're gonna have project.logo, which is just gonna become logo. We are going to have to say show logos. That was one that I missed. And that's going to be data.showLogos. And so this changes to show logos. Cool. We're talking about subtitle, which in this case was, where are you? The role. We can just get rid of project dot on these guys. And then description, is that what we called it? Oh, we didn't put it in. Description equals project dot description. I think that's fine. So we'll take out project dot on here. And then we can take out project dot end date. Feel like we're close. Description is not defined because we did not include it in here. And there's one, maybe more, but at least one more. We put the key on here, but the key can't live there. The key actually has to live here. Cool, so side projects is now showing, but it's actually using this separate component. So I'm actually going to extract that into an experience component. And then we are gonna do some work here to okay, and then export default side project section. Okay, so we'll need to bring work period into here. Are we only, oh no, we're not, okay. Image is gonna have to come over here too. And then we're gonna have to import experience. Cool. So that's nice and tidy. And I guess all we really have to do now is bring this into, let's go to work history first. Bring in that experience section. I'm gonna just get rid of all this. And what we're gonna do is we're going to paste in this. And we just have to make sure we change these to be the right ones. So it's work.company, work.logo, work.role, work. Is it description? Yeah, description's good. Work.start date and work.end date. Beautiful. That one works nicely, super cleaned up. Take that out. We don't need image anymore from here. And then we'll do the exact same thing into the education section as well. So I will bring in that component and we will kill off all this. Oops, and paste in this. Again, we're just gonna take all these and swap them out for school. And institution, I think is what it's called. Logo, it's not role, I think it was program. Is that everything? And that one looks good too. Awesome, so we've cleaned that up as well. That's nice. And is looking good. Awesome. Well, that's all the time that I've got for today. I'm going to commit this before we end this off. And really, this was all around us extracting duplication from work, education, and side project sections. And we'll set that up to GitHub. Awesome. Sweet. So next time we will continue down this path. We're gonna add some key experiences. We're gonna add that individual page for a potential employer, and we're gonna go from there. Maybe add those strength pills, and I think maybe we'll call it done after that. Who knows? Maybe this project will live on forever. If you want, you can go check out the repo here. And the repo is at github.com/Korygorski/resume. Awesome. I hope you all have a great night and talk to you soon.